What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be speaking to a guy in the USA. He's unfortunately just recently had some bicep surgery, which he's now recovering from, but he's only 29 years old, so he's still got a long strongman career ahead of him. Let's see what Rich DeStefani has to say. So, hi Rich, good to speak to you, and it's always nice to speak to one of our athletes across the pond. It always feels pretty exotic, it's such a long distance away. But anyway, so how's it going over there?
Hi, Kim. Yeah, it's going great over here. It's a lovely day outside. Actually, we've been having a lot of rain the last few days, so it's nice. It's actually kind of pretty. Training's been it's been taking a hit recently, and we'll obviously talk about that soon with my bicep going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Besides, everything's going pretty good.
Oh, nice one, nice one. So obviously, I've explained your name's Rich DeStefani, and yeah, what's your day job, Rich, when you're not being a strongman?
So actually, I'm going to correct you. Go back and correct you a little bit. It's Rich DeStefani.
Oh, Rich DeStefani.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Yeah, it's pronounced DeStefani. That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. Everyone says DeStefani, so I've kind of just let it go over time now.
Cool, cool.
But actually, my day job changed last year. I'm actually now working as a personal trainer,
Nice,
and I'm
nice.
currently going after a nutritional cert. So I'm trying to really expand my training professional background.
Nice, nice. It's always good when your day job sort of complements what you your strength sport as well, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it forces me to be in the gym and work on my mobility a lot more.
Definitely.
That's something as strongmen we all tend to kind of lack a little bit. So in between clients, I start stretching, work on some more my mobility work to prevent other injuries.
Nice, nice. So we'll have a bit of a history lesson. I'm gonna show the viewers a picture of you when you first started strongman, which was 9 years ago. Do you want to tell us how you ended up into strongman, how you started up?
God, yeah, 9 years ago. It feels like forever. But actually, it was back in college. I stopped playing football after my sophomore year, American football. And I kept lifting, and I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something. And I was thinking of doing bodybuilding, and I was getting really lean. Like I was doing cardio every day and eating tuna fish and plain chicken and egg whites. And I was like, this sucks. I just wasn't for me. So I found a local competition that was about 2 hours from my parents' house. So that summer between sophomore and junior year, I tried out. I never picked up the events before. I never picked up a stone, never picked up a log. I flipped a tire because my family has a farm, so we have a lot of tractor tires that I would flip. And I said, hey, let me go try it out, and it was a blast. It was a great time. I actually went against the late great Mike Jenkins when he was still an amateur.
Wow.
He was one of my fellow competitors. It was a great show. I fell in love the moment I did it.
Awesome.
The moment I picked up an Atlas stone, it was great.
I don't think everyone who picks up an Atlas stone will agree with you there, but yeah, no, that's awesome. So you obviously hooked, and it's 9 years later now, and you're still going.
Yeah, 9 years later, still going. I took a little break as I was finishing up college. But yeah, once college was done, I kicked it right back up. I moved to an area where I was close to some promoters and some fellow competitors and started training a lot. And yeah, 9 years later, here I am. I actually never thought I would get to the level that I currently am. And my original goal when I first came into strongman was I always wanted to compete at the Arnold, which I did in 2016 and 2017. But my ultimate goal was just to make that main stage. I didn't care what I placed as long as it was in the top 10. In those 2 years, I didn't make it. But then in 2017, I wound up winning United States Strongman Nationals, USS Nationals for the 275 weight class. And that qualified me for Strongman Champions League. And now I'm here. I'm still rolling. I'm stronger than ever, and I'm not stopping.
Awesome, awesome. And how old are you now?
29.
29.
So I'll
Wow.
be
Okay.
30 in November. So everyone keeps telling me, 30 is when you start falling apart. I'm like, I'm falling apart a little too soon.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, obviously plenty more gas in the tank, as they say. You're still young in the strongman world, very young.
Yeah, it's still young in the strongman world. It's definitely very humbling when I was just in Finland and went against Matthias Belsack, and him being 4 years younger than me and one of the top strong guys in the world. It's definitely humbling that, hey, you need to keep working.
Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
matter your
definitely.
age.
It's,
Humbling.
it's definitely, especially when you meet these guys. Mateus he's a great guy as well. It makes you feel good about being in the same the same league or the same room.
Yeah, it really does.
Definitely, definitely.
And this is I'm stronger now than I've ever been. I've started working with new coaching, new programming. I've started working a little, getting my nutrition a little more dialed in than it was before, and I'm feeling better than ever, and I'm ready to keep going after this.
Awesome, awesome. I'm just going to show the viewers a picture of you now. This was at SEL Finland. Yeah, I was at SEL a few years ago as a spectator, but they're very well run comps. They're very well run. So as an athlete, it's awesome to go to one of those comps where everything just seems to, they're so slick at doing it. It's pretty awesome.
It is. They run a great show. Marcel and Ilka put on a great show. My first year in Finland last year, it was kind of surreal. I start warming up, getting ready to go for the Viking press, and I went to go throw a plate on. And the guys were like, "Whoa, stop! Like, we got it for you. We're going to load the weight." And I was like, "Whoa, this is great. Okay." I'm like, "Wow, I don't have to do this."
Yeah.
In the U.S., you have to do this. Like, if you want to warm up with something, you got to go get it yourself.
Just speaking about US comps, I'm always curious. You said a local comp was like two hours away for your first comp, whereas us here in the UK, we'd say a local comp would be in our local town or city. You wouldn't 2 hours would be a long way away for us. So is that a normal distance? Is that do you travel? Are you expected to travel a lot?
Yes and no. I mean, everything's kind of spread out. Back then, so 9 years ago, yeah, 2 hours was actually pretty close. There were not many competitions in the U.S., and if there were, you really needed to travel. But over the last few years, they've really been more frequent and much closer. Like last year, I actually did two competitions back like 3 weeks 3 weeks apart. One of them was 45 minutes away. The other one was 15 minutes. So now there's more. But they're they're not in bigger locations like you might see over in the UK.
Yeah.
You always see some of the big spectacle shows going on over there.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the strongman scenes is massive here now. It's awesome to see. It's just growing and growing and growing. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's why I'm always curious to see how things are across the pond. If it's we always imagine everything in America to be bigger and better. So when guys in the States are like saying, "Oh, I wish we had a stadium show like you guys have got in the UK," then it's it's quite difficult to get our heads around that. Because we just expect it to be, we expect a massive stadium. Just bigger and better, basically.
There was actually I'll go back a little bit. There was a show that I was part of. It was it could have been one of the best shows ever. It was in Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's probably about 15, 20 minutes from where my family's from. So everyone was coming out. It was on the boardwalk and on the beach, but it was in the middle of a heat wave. It was about 110 degrees, and people were passing out left and right. I wound up actually passing out of heat stroke after the second event and had to drop out of the competition.
Wow.
But it was a great show where it had a great location. It was on a boardwalk in the middle of the summer. There were tons of people there, but the heat wave killed it.
Well, we're probably having one of the hottest summers we've had in a very long time in the UK, and obviously it's got its pros and cons. But when it comes to the contests, it's not always the best if you're not used to your prep's not being in the same heat.
Yeah, definitely will throw you off.
Definitely, right. Well, I suppose let's move on to the bad news.
Yeah.
I'm going to show everyone a picture of your bicep there, and I think that's every strongman's worst nightmare, seeing something like that. you know, there's obviously varying degrees of bicep tears, and you know, some of them are barely visible, and then other ones it's almost like a pretty detached bicep, and you know, it's like a horror story. But yeah, I'll let you explain what happened to you.
Yeah, it was it was competition just a few weeks ago in Baltimore, Maryland, so East Coast Most Powerful. I was competing for a chance for the Arnold qualifier, so I wanted to get to the Arnold in Ohio again.
Mm-hmm.
And show was doing great. Started out with the max deadlift, won that without I didn't even need to take my third attempt. Won the yoke. We had about 2.5 hours of downtime in between the yoke and the max keg over bar for max height. So it's a 350-pound keg. We get ready to warm up with 250. That goes well. We had to wait for some plates, so there's a little bit of downtime before we can get the keg up to comp weight. So it's time to load up to 350. We loaded 350 pounds, by the way, not 350 kilos.
Okay.
So let's specify that one.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, right. That would be incredible. Anyone picking up a 350-kilo keg, you're amazing. You can do that. So I went to go load it over a 62-inch bar. The first one was great. Second attempt, I missed the load, so I had about a minute, so I had time to reset the keg and go again. I position myself, I pick up the keg. The moment I pick it up, I felt the snap in my forearm. And weirdest feeling ever. If you've never had a torn muscle before that completely snaps off the bone, it felt like worms under my skin. And it was the muscle tendon rolling up the arm.
Wow.
So that was really, really disgusting feeling. Mm-hmm. But it didn't hurt. There was no like excruciating pain. It felt like a rubber band snap.
Wow. Because I mean, you'd expect it. You see the bruising and stuff. You'd expect, you'd expect intense pain at the time. You know.
Yeah. No. There wasn't really any intense pain. The moment it happened, I knew what it was. I went down on the knee. I grabbed my arm, and I hollered for ice and compression, something to wrap it up. I had a few friends that that ran over, made sure everything was okay. They verified it was the torn bicep, and just kind of helped me pack my stuff up and kind of end the day. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously you knew straight away it's game over.
Yeah, knew straight away. The next two events for the day were farmer's carry, and the last event was a press medley. So there was no way that I could possibly finish the competition with one arm. And that could have, that would have just ruined me for something in the future. So we weren't going to make any dumb decisions.
Yeah, it wasn't circus dumbbell to finish.
No, yeah. If there was like one, circus dumbbell, we'll try to finish it with one arm here. But no, it started with an axle press. Right. So we're not going to clean an axle with the torn bicep.
Yeah. Okay.
But what? I was going to say one thing that was great. It was unfortunate for me. I had family coming to that competition. It was about 2 hours from my parents' house, so they were coming down to visit, and they were kind of shocked that hey, to see that I wasn't frustrated about what happened, because once it happened, I wasn't frustrated. I grabbed my stuff, kept my head held high, and moved on. And this is a rite of passage in the sport. I actually had a lot of people reach out to me, and they're like, hey, well, now you're a true strongman. Now you can actually call yourself a strongman because you've had a torn bicep.
Yeah, I guess. Right, so obviously now the recovery starts. I believe you've had an operation as well.
Yeah, I had it fixed on the 23rd, so I had surgery on July 23rd to go in and fix it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get the tendon through one incision. So they actually had to make another incision further up on my arm to grab the tendon and kind of feed it down. So there's going to be a little bit more recovery time before I can get that full range of motion back. Just letting the skin heal and come back. But so far, yeah, I've been in this brace for about 2 weeks. I have about 10 more weeks to go until I'm out of it.
Yeah.
But I started doing some physical therapy where I'm not lifting anything, but I'm moving my arm, twisting my wrist. Biggest thing is twisting the wrist in a supinated position is really hurting forearm. But besides that, I'm not having any pain.
Okay, that's good.
In all of this.
And what's the average? What's the expected recovery time?
Expected recovery time is 3 months until I can start training again. until I can start. And that's not training at 100%. That's okay. Now you can actually start training, with light weights and building it back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm expecting, everyone who's told me is you'll be able to compete again in 4 to 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rush it back, strictly because when I come back, I don't want to come back and, participate in the competition. I'm going to come back and dominate that competition. So early 2019, I will be back on the field.
Yeah, so it'd be like a proper comeback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making a proper comeback. We're not just coming back lightly.
Awesome. And obviously, so far things are going to. I mean, it's early days now, but things are going to plan. Surgery's done, and you can.
Yeah, surgery's done. I meet with a different PT this upcoming Friday, so I'm gonna, again, get a different advice to see make sure we're recovering in the right way and doing whatever exercises I can. The biggest optimistic about all of this is this was my dominant arm.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have the ability for my left arm to catch up to my right. Also, my legs were kind of the weakest part of me, strictly because I had my knee injury in December. Mm-hmm. So now, great, my legs are fine. I can squat all the time, so I can work on my weaknesses while this is going on.
Cool. So every day is leg day.
Every day is leg day. I am dying from squats 2 days ago.
Okay.
I just my wife and I moved about a month and a half ago. We're in a third floor apartment now, climbing up and down the flights of stairs. I was like, wow, my legs are killing me today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a great feeling.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so just talking about competing still in, you've been in Finland a few times now, is that right?
Yeah, I've been in Finland a few times now. Back in August 2017 was my first show, my first Strongman Champions League show. So it was a great experience. My wife came with me, so we kind of turned it into a little vacation. Mm-hmm. We were in Vasa, Finland, and that show was very I would say sent towards me. A lot of the events were kind of my events. It was great. The second event was a frame carry, and I win that every time. Frame farmers, I'm going to smoke that event. So my second event in SCL, I won. Mm-hmm. I beat Belsac, Rajakowski, all those guys. So it was a great experience to come in and build up that confidence.
Awesome.
So I wound up placing 6th out of 14 guys over the course of 2 days. It was a 7-event competition. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it was really trial by fire coming into my first Strongman Champions League performance.
I'm just going to show the viewers a quick picture of you doing a car deadlift there in one of the Finland comps. So how does competing in Scandinavia compare to the US?
The crowd is crazy. The crowd loves it. The fans love it. When you're in the US, the fans are made up mostly of your friends and family. You're not going to see some random person from across the street, who's in town just show up to the competition. But in Finland, everyone showed up. Everyone loved it. It's very popular. So it was great to kind of feel like they were there to see you. You weren't just like in the area and they happened to come across you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The biggest, different from Scandinavia, the biggest and best experience I think I had, or not I think that I know I had, was in Greece last year for Strongman Champions League. It was in November. It happened to be over my birthday weekend, so it was a great opportunity for me. I've never been to Greece before. It was my first time traveling to Greece, and the crowd was incredible. They lined the sides, all the walls where we were doing the truck pull, our whole competition field. People wanted, fist bumps, high fives. They wanted pictures with us. I got asked for my autograph. Yeah. It was something. It was unreal. It was something that you never would witness in the United States. So it was great to be a part of in all these shows.
Was that an SCL as well in Greece?
Yep, SCL Greece. Mm-hmm. It was in Corinth last year. It was their last stage before the finals.
Awesome. The thing I like about the SCL shows is they've, because it's a series, you've got, your SCL leaders, and you've obviously had people following the shows, and then they've maybe traveled to a few different ones, and that's why you get that awesome phenomenon, like you said, of you've got the fans, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, and there's so many of them. So yeah, people can plan ahead of time to come out and travel and visit it and see some of those shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty awesome. So
Yeah,
just to wrap up there, Rich, do you have any advice for any sort of any guys or girls sort of thinking to get into strongman, and they maybe tend to do their first comp, or what's your advice?
my advice is just go do it. Don't worry about what the events are. If you're training in the gym, you're obviously getting strong. You're lifting the basic events. Yes, overhead press, squat, deadlift. Maybe some sort of carrying thing that you're doing. Some kind of cardio or the bike. But don't worry about getting your hands on a log, on a dumbbell, on all these things, because that scares a lot of people. When I went to my first competition, I had no idea how to clean a log. I tried to reverse curl a 270-pound log. Obviously, it didn't work out. I saw stars, but it was a learning experience. Afterwards, I was like, hey, how do I do this? And learned in my next competition that I did a month later, I cleaned it. I couldn't press it. So then again, the competition after that, I finally put it all together. But I learned every single time and had a blast doing it. Don't worry if you don't know what to do, people will help you. Just like if you're maybe too scared to go into a competition, but you want to go to the gym, but you're nervous because there's a lot of strong people that train at that gym, just go. People will help you. Two of the strongman gyms that I train out of, Titan Barbell in Stoneham, Mass, and Lightning Fitness in South Windsor, Connecticut. They're both great environments where if you go in, you don't know what you're doing, ask a question, and 20 people will be at your side to help you, either give you pointers or kind of show you what to do. So just don't be scared and just go do it and have fun.
Yeah, great. It's great when you got some encouragement, because I had two friends that just did a recent local comp, and I've been at them for the last 2 years. You guys have got to compete. Just do the local comp. It's great fun. If anything else, you might not win, but you'll have fun, and that's the great thing about strongman and competing in these things. You cannot beat how fun it is to do.
It seriously is, because in the end, you could say, who else does this? Who else can do these things? Not everyone can pick up cars and all that stuff. So to go and do that, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I watched these two guys, and they both did great, and they both exceeded what they expected to do. So it was like, it's a proud moment, having almost forced them to do this and seeing them having so much fun.
And they probably enjoyed it so much that they're going to sign up for another one.
Yeah, I reckon they will. So it'd be pretty good. It was a local comp called Highland's Strongest Man. So I did it a couple of years. Well, I did it last year and the year before. I didn't do it this year, but I'm going to do it next year. And they're already up for it. They're like, right, we're all friends. Let's go do it. So
perfect.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, Rich, it was pretty awesome speaking to you. It's always good catching up with one of the US athletes, and just like to say, speedy recovery for your bicep, and good luck for your comeback in 2019.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was great talking with you as well.
Right. Great speaking. Take care.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Cheers.